The first pseudo class we'd like to work with is first child. If we scroll down to the section marked entry content, we see that it consists of a number of paragraphs. Let's set the first paragraph to have its text in blue. The way to do that, or at least one way to do that, is to use the first child pseudo class. However, notice actually that the first child of this class is an empty line, and we didn't really want that there anyway, so let's delete it. Now the first child of the class entry content is this paragraph. We'll go up to the styles, and we will say class entry content first child, and then color, and we'll just put in blue. Let's save that. Bring up Opera. Update. And notice that the first child is now in blue. The nth child turns out to be remarkably useful. Let's scroll down again and see that we have a UL that has a series of LIs in it. Before we look at the nth child, let's remove the links from these two listings. That gives us a clean set of LIs. We have 5 of them. Let's go back up to the styles, and we're going to find the nth child of the surrounding UL. I've commented out a previous style that might conflict with what we want to do now. And what I'm going to say is, for the UL, find the nth child where the value of n is odd, and set the background color, and the color we'll set it to will be D5C1FF. Then we'll do the same thing, setting the nth child, but this time setting the even rows. And we'll set this one to be the hex value FFFFFF. With those saved, let's bring back Opera and update it. And what we see is that every other line is now colored purple. All of the odd numbers, 1, 3, and 5. And the even numbers have a background of white, making this list very easy to distinguish. You can do a very similar thing with first of type, last of type, and nth of type as you do with child. For example, I've changed our Greeking to now be a series of paragraphs. If we run that in Opera, update the page, we see that it's now separated into paragraphs. If we want to change the background on every other paragraph, we can do the same trick here. This is in the class aside body, and it's every other paragraph that we want to change. Let's come up, and rather than using nth child, we could do that, but let's assume there might be other things in that aside besides paragraphs. There might be images and so forth. We identify the class, then we identify the type and say nth of type, and we are ready to set the background color. Let's go ahead and set odd and even, and we'll grab the background color and then just copy that, paste it, change it to even, and change the color. This says find the class aside body, find all of the paragraph tags, and for nth of type, where n is odd, set this background color, and where n is even, set white. Save that, bring up Opera, update, and sure enough, we have every other paragraph with a different background color. I didn't say this would be pretty, but you can see how you can use this in selective ways to get exactly the effect that you want.